with no further ado, let's bring to the table our Grand Chief, Kudjo Adoel.
Please. We'll go right into the whole backtrack of why that position is. All right. For the record, I go by the name of Kudjo Adoel, Grand Chief of the Moor Science Temple in what we say Toronto, Ontario territory. I made a statement about Garvey's mentality was to go back to Africa, right? Which was false. How we know that it was false is because everybody knows that the Negro, black, colored people in, more specifically North America, are in their own land in North America. Right? This is common knowledge that everybody knows, right? To prove that, we're going to go to Executive Order 11490. And Executive Order 11490 is a military document. Just since the Vanguard was speaking about the idea of Moorish sciences and every nation having that wall of defense, right? So this executive order, right, executive. Our Black's Law Dictionary right here. This is 4th edition. If you're going to be doing any type of studying, it's highly recommended that you get a dictionary. 1, a dictionary that's unabridged. 2, a dictionary that's etymology. And 3, a dictionary that's law dictionary. Right? And that's just standard. Whenever you read the newspaper, you have those 3 books next to you. Go to the library, you get a book, you have those 3 books next to you, and you always reference them. Right? Get a volunteer just to check out the executive. So this executive order was authorized October 1969 to counteract the minority. So 1969, they put out this executive order to counteract the minority. And they're counteracting the minority. And the minority is labeled as Negro, black, and colored.
Sorry, during which presidency was this?
This is
Johnson. It's
69. So
JFK was 64 or something.
This is Eisenhower somewhere around there.
I think it's Johnson.
Is it Johnson?
Yeah. It was right in the middle of the Vietnam War. The early part of the Vietnam War.
That's it. So the executive orders to counteract the minority. Blacks, Indians, Latinos, Puerto Ricans, and poor whites in their rise from up under the depression and powers that be the government. King Alfred, in the event of widespread and continuing and coordinated racial disturbances in the United States, King Alfred, at the discretion of the president, is to be put into action immediately. This booklet contains vital excerpts from Executive Order 11490, October 19, 1969, the King Alfred Plan. The Rex 84 Plan, concentration camps, Executive Order 11490 expanded. Top secret silent weapons for quiet wars. Introductory programming manual. Operations research. Technical manual TMSW 7905.1. Union States of America Incorporated. Not United States of America. Union States of America Incorporated. So this document doesn't have anything to do with the de jure government of the United States of America. This document has to do strictly with incorporated foreign jurisdiction that has labeled the indigenous people minority, and is using this document in order to establish how they're going to deal with the race war, if race war kicks off, right? Keep in mind, the minority, blacks, Indians, Latinos, Puerto Ricans, and poor whites. The Executive Order 11490, the Rex 84 Plan, and silent weapons for quiet wars has been in the hands of the popularly accepted individuals, calling themselves, quote unquote, the black leaders, since the 1970s. Many have spoken of them, but few have logistically broken them down and disseminated the information to their alluring public. The King Alfred Plan implicates the true motive and reason why they do not. One will take note that all the people mentioned in these government plans, blacks, Indians, Latinos, Puerto Ricans, and poor whites, do not include a de jure national name or title. All these words are descriptive shadow brands. We have executive then?
Yep. Which one do you want to be what?
Just executive.
Executive, as distinguished from the legislative and judicial department of government, the executive department is that which is charged with the details of carrying the laws into effect and securing their due observance. The word executive is also used as an impersonal designation of the chief executive officer of the state or nation. In Ray Railroad comes 15 MPB 679, 15.
All right, so that's just the law cases. So they're telling you that
there's fine print.
Oh, go ahead.
Under constitutional provision, dividing powers of government into the legislative, executive, including the administrative and the judicial department, the word administrative is not used as synonymous with executive, but the words executive and administrative may be used as synonymous or interchangeable terms, depending on the case, and just same versus how and function. So executive and administrative can be synonymous.
All right. Now I wanted to get the definition so we can stress that this is above municipal, provincial, federal, legislative, judicial, and everything else. So this is not a document, one, that's for the public. The public's not privy to this because it's military. And secondly, this is the highest level of the government that is dealing with this situation, right? And there's a maximum law. Notice the principal is notice the agent. And notice the agent is notice the principal. Which means that if the top guy knows, the bottom guy knows. And if the bottom guy knows, the top guy knows. So don't think that people don't know about this document that we're talking about.
Well,
right? Especially people who are in government. right? They know, they're very clear, right? All these words are descriptive shadow brands, coined by Europeans as substitute pedigree parentage names and were forced as appellations on indigenous people of the Americas in their own discard. All people bearing these labels are referred to as it in these texts. So when they're telling you the quote-unquote minority, they are it. The quote-unquote minority are on water. You like that on the desk, and you're not going to say nothing, you're just going to take it.
That's a crystal light.
No rights whatsoever. One common thread is evident. No nationality equals no rights and no human value. Are any of the states assigned black leaders speaking or educating their people in recourse, redress, remedy, or sovereignty? Do they instruct or do they not? That is the question. Major minority infiltrated organizations. So the executive order is outlining all the organizations that are in the minorities, communities that are corrupted, that have been infiltrated, which also includes the Moorish Science Temple of America.
What year is it again?
This is 69. There are 12 major minority organizations, and all are familiar to the 22 million. Dossiers have been compiled on the leaders of the organizations and can be studied in Washington. So all this is documented fact that our own quote-unquote black, Negro, colored, African, whatever leaders decided to side with the colonizer.
Just exposed to us. What are we to make of these questionnaires, like census questionnaires, for people that to, especially now case here, have to answer, are you Aboriginal, are you what minority? So what are we to make like a line of warning here for folks who have to answer the census questionnaires?
One, I would say that it begins with you knowing first what you are and what you're not. Same thing we're talking about, know thyself. Because I guarantee if there's a yellow box, Chinese guy's not checking it off. I'll put money on that.
It's not even funny.
Right? Yeah, like I'll put money on it.
I am not a
Right?
minority.
So even your question,
I'm not a minority.
your question implies that the black leaders who know that you have no nationality, you have no rights, they haven't done their job. But again, King African also tells you that this is why they haven't done their job.
This one, remember the Zimmerman thing?
Yeah.
Black Panthers went on there and they said they'll give a reward to anybody who makes a citizen's arrest. The very next sentence he said, we know that we black people are not citizens.
Right? And that's New Black Panther Party. Right? Who has a lawyer as their head? And a lawyer is an officer of the court, and his obligation is to the court only. He has no obligation to anybody other than the court. A lawyer, an attorney, legal counsel, whatever, judge, prosecutor, district attorney. Once they work for that establishment called the court, their obligation is to that establishment only. I don't care how much money you pay them. I don't care how much cases they won, and their track record is sparkling clean. Just go watch the movie Liar Liar with Jim Carrey.
Right now, a very true question. An interesting question to that is that to those, of those of us there on the path of self-knowledge, waking up, in other words, and we just so happen to have core issues, how then can we see legal aid in terms of having proper representation?
Goes back to the same thing about knowing thyself. Because if you know thyself,
You're the best
you know
person
that
to represent
you
you.
can't be represented.
I agree. But
let me expand on that a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
You cannot be represented because you could only be presented. And you do that yourself. If you're represented, that means you're a ward. Which means you're a minority, which means you fall right under the jurisdiction of chattel property. Once again, label. Right? So it's not a overnight process. So we're just like Vanguard was saying, we're gonna have to face up to the enemy. We're gonna get some blows. Right? We're gonna take some shots, whether it's body shots, head shots. We're gonna get a couple. That's just because it's not overnight. This is not cut and dry like that. This is not come join our organization and then we give you this thing and then now you're gonna go to the police officer and say, well, I have this thing because I belong to the, and they're gonna leave you alone. They're gonna kick your ass faster. Right?
Just to add to what Brother was saying about how you deal with that if you have a case. They've got us brainwashed so much that we will tell you that lawyers shouldn't represent a fool. What is the saying? A lawyer who represents himself as a fool for a client. So they want you to think that even though this man went to law school to learn law, he shouldn't represent himself. So what about even me?
Right.
Definitely, we should hire that. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Right. And again, when you're getting into, hiring that person, you're supposed to get what you pay for. And you talk to the majority of brothers who have some type of situation. They went and got a lawyer. Guaranteed, all they're doing is
Guilty.
paying out. Case will go on for 2-3 years. Brother just paying out. Sisters just paying out. Right? To get no remedy. All you're doing is just paying out.
Until you have no more money.
Until you have no more money. And then, when you have no more money, instead of them doing the case pro bono, they're going to say, well, sorry, I can't deal with your stuff anymore because you don't have any more money.
Talk to the crown.
Talk to the crown. Maybe you should go get duty counsel.
Yes.
When if duty counsel was legit, you would have went to them in the first place and not paid this guy out. Right?
Knowing the law, that's the question. Knowing the law, studying the law will break the perception of authority.
Right. Right.
Have that knowledge. You have to assume the authority that's bestowed upon you.
Right. Now, I understand the problem that comes with that also is that not only do they presume, but we also assume that they have some type of authority. When they don't, that's just another guy with a black robe on that 4 o'clock is going home to his wife and children. And he really doesn't care who he sent to jail today. It's not going to be a conversation at the dinner table because everybody who came through there is a minority and they don't have no rights. So it's not like he's violating something or he's putting somebody to jail or it's that they're dealing with.
Well, but the breaking the perception is also acknowledging the human side of where they're standing.
Right.
in front of you.
A lot of those people who are standing in front of you don't have a human side.
Or it's
In that room that they call a court, which is really an administrative building because they have a plaque right at the front saying administrative building.
Business hours.
Yeah, and then the door says business hours, not court hours. And if we go look at the Western movies, the court had court hours. The court didn't have business hours.
I believe you can always call it when you're inside.
Well, we'll get there, because there's a brother right now in court that tried to apply to the human side, right? Telling them that I know the law. I'm saying I know what the obligation is of you, judge, sir. With all due respect, you seem like an honorable man, so I hope you'll stand up for the law because you're a judge. But instead of them throwing out his case because they have no case, they're going to send him to go get a psychological assessment at Camp H. That he's going next week. This is because he went to court and he said, I'm not Negro, black, colored, I'm born. And they are sending him. He has the meeting to go to Camp H to go get a psychological assessment to see if he's fit to stand trial. Why? Because he crushed their presumptions and assumptions of authority, took the authority on himself because he studies and he was exercising his rights. And they don't play with people exercising their rights.
I'm supposed to be doing this.
Right? So once you start exercising your rights, you are becoming a savior for all these shadow property that are just going up. Hi, yeah, my name's okay, $50. Oh well, I don't have a job. You just bring it down to 20. All right, yeah, I got $20 right now. Okay, all right, cool, now. Next guy. And then they do that to 500 people all day. And one person could crumple the whole thing. One person could have the whole court frozen for the whole day. Like, this is from experience, right? Where, we're chilling. We're like, well, we're here, so we'll just be here. And there's people that we know that, we know people that are police, people who work, for the lease system. And they're coming and saying, you guys are the top of the whole building. The whole entire building is talking about who are these guys in courtroom 1114 that nothing's going on in there all day. That prosecutors are mad because their cases can't go up because they have lunch date with wherever they can't go on their lunch date. Right? That's for the simple fact of standing up for rights. But no, when you stand up for rights, they will attack you. It's 150 million% positive they're gonna attack you. And just because.
That's super sure.
Just because.
I wanted to ask you, did he send anything beforehand, or did he just go in person and verbally send what he said?
Yeah, he did. He went through the process, sending in his paperwork. You never go in there and talk out of your mouth to them, right?
So how does those instruments that he sent beforehand, how does that not stand as proof that he does establish what he's talking about?
Because
they don't recognize it.
Because that court is not a court; it's an administrative building. They don't deal with law.
So
you can go to them with law all you want. They're administrative buildings. They're all about money. If they're not getting their money, you're a crazy person. And you need to get a psychological assessment right now because you have a $10,000 fine that you don't want to pay, and you're trying to tell me that I need to show you some type of what delegation of authority? What are you talking about? What is that? I don't know what you're talking about. Where do you get that from? And they play this game in that artificial court jurisdiction. And they play that game very well. And they don't lose. They win. Right? Regularly.
These individuals in the court.
Let's just like how we say we're not Negro, black, colored, and then when people say, oh yeah, well the black people stop them immediately and say, don't even go there. Let's not call it a court. Let's break the brainwash and call it administrative building. That's what it is. The only court is the Supreme Court and the federal court.
God's court.
Yeah, or God's court. Anything under that is strictly corporate. But yeah, sorry.
No, just that these judges, prosecutors, administrative buildings, they have tied to Freemasonry, right? So I at some point, isn't just a mind game going on because they know,
Right.
that
Right.
the third Morse as complete legitimate
Yeah.
foundation. So now, how to break that mind game by, I guess, is to push the consciousness to the masses, to the people.
That's why
they wake up to the game going on above their head.
That's why Marcus Garvey.
saying it, they won't have any
Right.
choice and to deal with it.
That's why Marcus Garvey and over to all these themes is wake up their people. Bring your people up to a higher level so that, you know, not only for them, but for the posterity. Because automatically you're gonna pass it down if you know that I can go to bed. Before I go to bed, I can say 3 snaps, flick my nose 2 times, and I'm gonna dream lottery numbers. You're gonna tell everybody. Especially if those numbers are gonna win. You're not gonna sit here and, well, you know, I think you do it this way. You're gonna tell all your family. So you know what? I just did the ritual. As soon as it happens, as soon as you go play the numbers and you win, you're gonna think back, now what did I do to make that happen? Oh yeah, I flipped my nose twice, I snapped 2 times, and then I had this dream about numbers. It's not fair, right? You're gonna tell everybody. This is what this is about. This is about, you find out something that's intriguing to you, that makes that light bulb go off, you need to, you know, do like how we did with flyers and the CDs and stuff like that. Make multiple copies and just give it away. Just give it away. Whatever they want to do with it, that's up to them. That's not your concern what they do with it. The one is that they have it. So now they can't say that I'm ignorant, I don't know. That's why the first thing that we're doing is we're letting you know about all these black organizations, African leaders, and all these people that we say are for our people. To let you know that all the organizations, the names are in there, all of them sold y'all out. All of them sold out. Right? Leaders, the material contained in many of the dossiers and our threat to reveal that material has considerably held in check the activities of some of the black leaders. So the materials contained in these dossiers and our threat to reveal that material is how we hold in check the black leaders. So the black leaders are held in check because they've conspired, they've contracted with a system that they know is against their people. Just like in the industry. Let's use Freemason for example, right? In Freemason, right? Some Freemasonic lodges have oath of secrecy, right? And depends on the degree of secrecy they want to keep. The ones that have a high degree of secrecy, the people that have the secret, they make them do some type of act so they have something on them. So as soon as they get out of line, they draw their card, put them out there on Front Street, right? And you wonder, you know, how come all of a sudden, you're just calling up Warren Hill on some taxi, all of a sudden, just like that. She hasn't done nothing for the past 3-4 years. All of a sudden, you know, Wesley Snipes has, you know, Ahmed Ra movie productions. All of a sudden, you know, he's coming up on stuff, right? You know, and the list goes on.
That's true. It would be true. Just because of lately, especially in the States, we're watching a strong rise of the black politicians. Not just in politics, but all over, being prosecuted, being spied upon, being, is it that they're waking up, but they're trying to push themselves out of line? majority of the leaders, right, again,
once they call themselves Negro, Black, Colored, African, Pan-African, etc., more than likely, the agents of the executive order to get these people in these concentration camps. All these FEMA coffins that they have lined up on the highway that no one's talking about, and all these FEMA concentration camps, and you know, I'm sure, right here, I can guarantee you, right here, there's some jurisdiction, some military jurisdiction that is fenced in, and they have school buses just lined up, sitting there. Sure, if you drive around, you'll see the parking lot sitting there. School buses just sitting there. But when school's in, school's out, whatever, those buses don't move. Because those buses have a purpose. And they make those buses hard with no seatbelts, so when they get into accidents, that's population control.
Just like the attitude is what you're saying is you're seeing like quote black person being prosecuted that ship is sinking, right? And you're trying to get off.
That's right.
But they're stuck on the ship and they have to go down.
Right.
Exactly, yeah.
Right? Leaders who do not have such usable material in their dossiers have been approached to take government posts, mostly as ambassadors. Who was the last ambassador to Haiti? Wycliffe. How is a musician going to be the ambassador of a country when that country is in turmoil? A musician?
I heard that's
Right? Leaders. Who was the head of the Fugees? Right? Wycliffe. Leaders who do not have such usable material in their dossiers have been approached to take government posts, mostly as ambassadors, and primarily in quote-unquote African countries. The promise of these positions also has materially contributed to a temporary slowdown of minority activities. The promise of these positions also has materially contributed to a temporary slowdown of minority activities. However, we do not expect these slowdowns to be of long duration, because there are always new and dissident members joining these organizations with the potential power to replace the old leaders. So, for example, let's say the UNIA Hall is a big fraud, and there's all these black agents that are running this. These guys know that you people who are coming into knowledge of self are going to be the ones that are saying, well, you know, if this guy's not doing his job, maybe I should just, you know, try to get in. Maybe I might get it. But remember, as soon as you get in, leaders who do not have such usable material in the dossiers are going to be approached to take government posts as ambassadors. So as soon as you get in, don't be surprised when, you know, you get the call. I heard you're the new whatever. Well, guess what? Forget about that little organization that you're dealing with. We're going to send you to Africa. You ever been to Africa before? You want to go back to Africa, right? That's home.
You don't want to go back
You
to
got a plane
Africa,
ticket
right?
for you to go back. Because we need an ambassador in that country, because, you know, we're starting this new, you know, country called Liberia, and, you know, we need to have a head there, and you seem like the person to be that person because, man, you check your stuff and you're tight. You don't have anything really, there's not too much usable material in your resume. So
You gotta be an ambassador.
You gotta be an ambassador, right? Nobody can't find anything. Nobody's not gonna search and find stuff on you and use against you, but we're glad we use you. We'll pay you well too. Same thing that they did to Batista. They tried to do the same thing with Fidel. Fidel said, nice try. I'm not Batista. Right? Nationalized the land, give everything back to the people, and now everybody hates that guy. Hugo Chavez, same exact thing. Nationalized the land, what, a third term, just recently. In the street. In the street, people just in the street, just because this guy is in charge still. Yes, no U.S. infringement, no democracy in our republic. Right? Yes, sister.
So he's really short of this kind of like the over effect now chasing the state, she's really hand in hand with the President of the United States.
Well, can you talk up a little bit more? Sorry.
I was saying, so as an example, you're talking about it being like an over effect, where now, I mean, she's really, she would be another type of ambassador
Right.
for the
Right.
people, or our people, for
She's
example.
paid her dues.
South Africa.
And I'm saying she's really close to the president.
Yep, she's paid her dues. Now, don't get it too swayed with the whole black president thing, because Noble Ali said that, the Morris time is going to be when there's a black president and a European vice president.
Yeah, it's not part of the mirage of their circumstances. I'm
Yeah.
saying in terms of the projection of how over being used as a staple,
Right.
how it represents to
Right. She's the spokesperson for, women, but mainly black women, because she's Oprah. But nobody's gonna talk about her little dirt with Hearst Corporation.
Yeah.
And that Hearst Corporation, and she was a yellow journalism puppet of the Hearst Corporation, using media as propaganda. Right? So exactly right. And we can look at all the leaders, and we can just look at all of them, and we can see the pattern. Know who they are. We know who they are by name and face. We don't have to play around. Especially with this information coming out now, you're definitely going to be sure who all these sellouts are.
What I don't understand is, right, for example, when we showed about the example about the guy that was trying to represent himself, and because he's in war, he's getting basically showed that he's in war, and now he's being caught into politics that's kind of a site foundation. I don't know why, but as well, pretty much states or showing slack and other background things happen. Why us? Knowing thyself, right? It's clear administrative buildings know they know what knows now. So how are we supposed to unite like the rest of our people to be on the same board and be able to fight the politics of what's going on right now? That it's almost an oxymoron right now.
Yeah. And that comes down to perspective, because how Moors look at it is that one conscious Moor, meaning a dark-skinned person, a minority, that is clear about their nationality and their birthrights, right? They represent 50,000 dead people. So we don't need everybody to be down with it. All we need is a good 5-6 people that are there, not swaying. It's like with the vanguard, right? In the Mufti force, we encourage people to belong to the Mufti force, right? Not because it needs people to be part of it, so it can be la la, right? But because one person being able to stand as a mufti, one person being able to stand as a vanguard is a threat to those people. Only one. So if we have 10 people out in the field, and 10 people are out in the field, and that's you know, we're running the brainwash on them. Just like when you might go to the mall and you see all these Asians in the mall, and they're, you know, 6 o'clock in the morning, they're walking around an empty mall.
Doing Tai Chi.
Doing Tai Chi and all this stuff, right? And then you look at us and, you know, what are we doing at 6 o'clock in the morning? Who knows? What, going to work?
Sleeping from the last party.
You know? Yeah, right? You know? Because, comes back again, once you know thyself, things are just natural to you, right? Because we haven't known ourselves is why, like, this is going on, and why it's dramatic, and why we have to talk about King Alfred Plan and infiltrated organizations, and when it's supposed to be normal for us to know ourselves. We're not supposed to have to go to lectures, you know what I mean, by the master teachers to know ourselves. It's supposed to be, you think Asians are going to Bobby Hemmett lectures and stuff like that? There's not an Asian Bobby Hemmett that's going around doing lectures, talking about, yeah, well, you know, you guys got to know your Kundalini energy. No, that's normal to them. They learn that like this. We don't, right? And again, the oxymoron. If people are dead and they're content being dead, then, well, sleeping dogs lie. Made your bed, better go lay up in that. You got glass in your bed? Well, that's your bed. I don't know what you want me to do, but you're the one that got glass in your bed. Either you're going to go lay down, or you're going to clean the glass off your bed and then lay down. But it's don't have the capacity to think. So it is going to go up in their bed, wake up in the morning, bloody sheets or whatever, and then say the devil did it or the white man did it, and never ever blame themselves for laying down in the glass bed. Which is what our problem is, not taking responsibility. We want to have our defense down, get punched in the face, and then say, oh, that guy cheated. Well, no, how about just put your defense up. And just how you said, yeah, exactly. That's how simple it's going to be after we go through these organizations, and, you know, you're clear as to who these sellouts are, who these agents are, and you're going to have to make a decision as to what are you going to do now? Because the majority of us have been groomed, conditioned, molded in one of these 12 infiltrated organizations, guaranteed. Right? That's the move.
Oh yeah, no, I was going to say, so you were mentioning earlier about having one person stand, like in the, you know, China with the Olympics the other day, they like went out of their way to, you're wondering why they put so much energy into the presentation, because the presentation lasted, and just seeing people doing, like hundreds of people doing one thing in synchronicity, that's giving them the example to show the world that, look, we can do one thing in synchronicity, imagine what we can do.
Yeah.
That alone is the scariest threat.
Yeah. You know, bystander effect. Because everybody seeing it, and everybody's sitting there thinking, damn, that's a real tight choreography there. Hold on a second. These guys have 1 billion people in their country. They start picking up arms and start doing that type of stuff.
All in one accord.
All in one accord. What does that mean for the rest of the world? Or you know, or you could look at it like, what does that mean for the government, who are corporations that have gone around the world buying allies for the past 200 years, buying allies, and then now the allies are realizing that, hold on a second, you know, said that these people are Negro black colored, but they're not that. Because, you know, we have those people that in our country, and we don't call them Negro black colored. You guys are paying all these debt packages to everybody, which every single country knows that the only real money is gold and silver, and paper is not money. Everybody knows that. That's common in the world, right? That's why Gaddafi had his trying to bring back the gold standard, not just there, in the whole continent. Bring back the gold standard, right? So they killed Nkrumah, Lumumba, all these people, because they were against the democracy. They were against the colonizer. And their whole intention was to have a centralized government for the continent.
It's interesting because I wouldn't be surprised because now the American imperial forces are trying to dominate the Pacific. Like their projection is to really control the Pacific militarily. So they have openly strong, presence there. But on that note, I mean, out of the science fiction, what do you guys see in terms of the rise of consciousness for black folks as we're about to close 2012 now?
Yeah, like,
meaning
as far as
wake-up call, like the third.
Yes, it's the wake-up call right here.
No, but
if like when we go through this, if this isn't clear that you don't want to be Negro, black, colored, minority, then you might as well get your barcode tattoo on the back of your neck, get your barcode tattoo on your wrist, right, and prepare yourself for the yellow school bus accident, because there's no option.
that's right.
The only option is nationality. Everything else is a fraud. Everything else is under 24-hour surveillance. Everything else is going to cause our demise. Guaranteed. Because it's already done. How do you think they killed Malcolm? Infiltration. How did they kill Martin? Infiltration. Khalid Muhammad, infiltration. Marcus Garvey, infiltration. Noble Ali, infiltration. The track record is sitting there. We know, right? Malachi York, infiltration. Across the board, everybody, all these organizations have been infiltrated by individuals who look like the leaders. Most times it's the leaders that are the agent, right? And send the people down the river. While they're on the bank, just watching people just go down the river. And then there's people on the bank with them, like, just looking and not calling out these dirty agents for what they are. Everybody wants to be friends with the agent. Everybody wants to, yeah, thanks, James Brown. You did a lot for hip-hop music. I'm an MC and all that. Thank you, but, I'm not black. And I'm not proud to be that either. And you forcing that on me through all these, record labels and same brainwash people, Hearst Corporation, yellow journalism, right?
I think on that note, it's not on the news, but I think South America is something to see, or something to study on that.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
The imperialism is leaving, not because it's on a port, but they're throwing it out, not by war, but by choice, the knowledge.
Right.
And you won't see it in the news. Just the matter is, we have more in common.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
The whole imperialism thing.
Yeah.
I don't think it's forecasted enough or talked about enough, the things that are happening out there.
Yeah. But again, you're talking about a jurisdiction, right? When we say South America, we're talking about a jurisdiction that majority of those places are republics. They don't play with democracy. They have that same star on their flag. All of them. Every single country in South America, they either have red in their flag,
Yellow and blue.
or they have that 5-point star.
Separation as well, so that I think it's clear where they're going. That's why they are not like pretty much the world. But they're us and we're them.
Right. Right. Right.
So it's not to say that because they're doing it, they're only for themselves because they're like, look, we have a foundation. It's unfortunate that for us right now, we're only awakening to it, but basically they have our back. Once we establish ourselves, then that's it, it's all.
Right. And the establishing ourselves is proclaiming our nationality. That's the establishing ourselves. There's no, well, black people need to, no. Well, Negro people need to, well, the African people that came over here on the slave,
That's it.
people with a nationality, they're established. And they would get recognized immediately. And everybody knows that Negro, black, colored people above Mexico, including the adjoining islands called the Caribbean, are Moors.
In other words, that's how the beast will claim those he wants for himself.
If slavery is voluntary.
That's right.
So if they say, we're giving out free whatever, and you say, yeah, I want one, but you didn't read the contract to find out that, when you get the free stuff, you're also going to get put on the slave ship and then go out over here. And then you put yourself in it. And you can't blame anybody, because you're the one that put your hand up when they were giving out the free stuff. Just because. It's just like the Black Fountain. Right? You want to go drink from a black fountain when 10 miles, 5 miles, point whatever miles, there's a river right there, you can drink all the water you want. Or you're going to go drink from a black fountain. It's not logical. Listen.
So I want to ask you a question. I'm listening to it. Maybe it has nothing to do with it, but almost why did God create all different races of people? Because I think I have an answer. But I'll let you answer. Why? Because we have this and this and that, but I want to know why God created all different races of people, but He said from one source. Different people from one source. Can we understand that? Then we don't have to have much section.
Right.
If we understand that, we understand oneness. It cannot be too much. I don't cultivate that way. And the reason why I don't, because when I look at it, I realize some people come to a different premise, and they would leave what they come to. Some would choose to be the enemy, some would choose to be your friend, some would choose to crime pay, and they would choose what they want. But in that process, one has to find themselves. And those who seek that, as the Bible says, seek and you shall find. They don't need nothing but primary energy, and they will work well because they know communicate with God. Every people are put to learn from each other. We just get into fights like children. We didn't grow up from the school. So we come and we say, I'm better than him because I'm lighter, I'm greener, and some selling it. We construct something to control one another. And we allow ourselves to be controlled. Because we have fear. We don't say, no, I don't care if I die. You're not going to control me. We say, no, I want what you have because you offer me something that is not real. So we accept what is not real instead of seeking what is in ourselves. The kingdom of God is here. You can seek everywhere. When you open it, you find the mystery of God. You communicate with God, and then you understand the spirit. You understand both words. You connect that. You are alive.
Now, the other thing that we have to thank you. The other thing that we have to, like we're saying with the labels and, we're not playing, stop playing into the, it's all one, it's one, everything from one source, right? Okay, that one source is not called God.
Well, that
God, right?
That oneness.
This is the same thing like we were talking about with, don't say court, say administrative building. Don't say God, because as soon as you say God, you mean government ordinance department.
Okay, so
that energy, supreme force, that energy, anything other than God.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Right? Just so that we're specific when we put these spells or these words into the ether. Because if we say God, well, God said that, I can be as powerful as I want to be. Well, then you're saying that government's ordinance departments said that you can be as powerful as you want to be.
I see what you mean.
Right?
Yeah.
You were right in everything that you said. You know, just, right?
That's the way I feel.
Right. Again, back to the infiltrated organizations. So the infiltrated organizations under 24-hour surveillance are Black Muslims, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, Congress of Racial Equality, Euro Movement, Group on Advanced Leadership, Freedom Now Party, United Black Nationalists of America, New Pan-African Movement, National Urban League, NAACP, Committee on Racial and Religious Partners. Preliminary memo, Department of Defense. This memo is being submitted in lieu of a full report from the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Everybody knows the Joint Chiefs of Staff? Heard that term? Can you check Joint Chiefs of Staff in the Black's Law right now? That one that I got off eBay. I bid it on it. It was probably about $40 plus shipping was about $30 or something like that. So like $70, $80. So you can find them online. What you want to do is you want to try to get 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st edition. Everything else is watered down. That one is 4th. But I don't know if there's any more CDs. We were giving out CDs of 2nd edition that you can put in your computer. So if there's any more CDs, so we give out a batch of them. Were they all done? They're all done? Alright. So somebody, whoever has it, just burn a copy for the sister so that she has access to that. Right?
You just cut and paste and just put it out.
Yeah. Right?
Joint Chiefs of Staff is
It's not there? Alright. The report, okay, well, so the Joint Chiefs of Staff is basically the heads of military, all the heads coming together to have a meeting. Right? There will be many cities where the minority will be able to put into the street a superior number of people with a desperate and dangerous will. He will be a formidable enemy, for he is bound to the continent by heritage and knows that political asylum will not be available to him in other countries. This is Union States military document telling the people that the minority, blacks, Indians, Latinos, Puerto Ricans, and poor whites will be a formidable enemy, for he is bound to the continent by heritage and knows that political asylum will not be available to him in other countries.
I see that definitively when they explain who are actually concerned that the white they added it as being poor.
Right.
White.
Because majority of the poor whites are not Caucasian. Majority of the poor whites are people that are intermixed with the Mormons. That's why poor whites could be classified as this being their land too. You know, like if there's one race on the planet and there's no separations in all these races, then that means, you know, we're all one big happy family. So if we're all one big happy family, you know, and our Father's house has many mansions, so everybody has their little slots that they can put in. Same thing that you're saying, one source. Father's house has many mansions. Right? This right here is called the master seal. It's also called clock, watch, whatever. It's also called religion, because all these right here are the cardinal points. And which religion prescribes to that? Right? These right here are the deacon. Right? And then if we do this, do this right here, we have the Orthodox cross, right? That the ancient Christians used. And you also have, like Brother Adiza was talking about, you also have the halo. And then it also represents the sun. Right? It also represents the zodiac. It also represents the cycle that, now, let's look at this from universal perspective, right? So this right here is the sun in its own axis. We got there, we got something here, and then this is Earth right here, and then Earth has its own right here. Then the sun has its own axis right there. But this is not the sun, the supreme sun. It's just the sun that we see. There's a sun 80 million times bigger than the sun that we see. That's on its own axis, wherever that is. Which comes back to the same thing about all of these scattered shards of glass need to come together to form one pane. But that's only going to happen when all those shards of glass recognize that they're part of the source. And right now, that's not where we're at. Why? Because of all these, as we call them, dirty nigger Moors that decided, instead of teaching the truth about your nationality and birthrights and about profit over duality, they want you to hate European. White man is the devil. White man's the devil, he brought us over on slave ship. But the white man, or white lady in this case, is sitting here waving a Corsica flag, which the Moorhead is a symbol, seal, insignia of the Moors. Now why is this European holding up a Moor flag? Because minority, blacks, Indians, Latinos, Puerto Ricans, and poor whites. Minorities are all Moors. I don't care what they look like. The minorities are Moors. Not European, they're not Dutch and French and Trinidadian and Jamaican. This is a European lady representing a culture that Negro black colored people abandoned because they want to follow sellout leaders that are trying to tell them that, you know, they came over here on a slave ship. Okay, so this is the real came over here on a slave ship. Because slave comes from Slav. And there's no dark-skinned people that are called Slavs around here.
And it's in this realm only through spirituality, practice well understood, will be able to judge someone by the content of one's character. Rather than the old labels that were created for us on the basis of race, religion, and whatever other created that is.
Good. Now, to stress the point again, why you don't want to play the game, the color game. Negro, black, colored, white, and all that stuff there, get that out of your mind. Like, get it out of your mind. Because they might show you concentration camps and say, oh yeah, they're gonna house people in concentration camps and they got buses and they're gonna take people and ship them to, this is what they're planning to do up in these concentration camps. Zero committee report. Survey shows that during a 6-year period, production created 9 million objects, or 1,500,000 each year. Production could not dispose of the containers, which proved a bottleneck. However, that was almost 20 years ago. We suggest that vaporization techniques be employed to overcome the production problems inherent in King Alfred. What's that mean to you? Let me read that again.
Sounds like the Holocaust.
Let's read this again. So we can, oh yo, Mufti. The eraser something? All right. Survey shows that during a 6-year period, production created 9 million new objects, or 1,500,000 each year. Production could not dispose of the containers, which proved a bottleneck. However, this was almost 20 years ago. We suggest that vaporization techniques be employed to overcome the production problems inherent in King Alfred. So 69. What's happening in 1949? What else was happening in 49? Prior to 1949, there was this issue with this place, which is really ancient Palestine. This gentleman decided that he's gonna nationalize Germany because during his time, before he came into power, there were people in Germany that weren't from there that had control of a lot of the resources and government and things that should belong to the common people. So when he got in power, he said, you know what? What's your nationality? Then, you know, a few people followed him. You know, he started touring. What's your nationality? And now he has this big army behind him. Everybody, you know, and all that stuff. Same thing with the China thing. If you show synchronicity, people are going to look at you. People are going to pay attention to you once you show synchronicity. So they paid attention to him. And when they were paying attention to him, they realized that he was eliminating people. He was straight telling you, oh, what's your nationality?
Me?
Oh, you're not German?
No,
all right.
I'm not German.
Go over in that corner over there.
It's over there.
Don't worry. You got plans for you. Go over in that corner. What's your nationality? Oh, you're not German? Go over in that corner. Make a nice straight line and walk to that factory over there.
Where's the free stuff?
No free stuff today. Right? Nationality is free, but you didn't want that. Right? You wanted to be something that you're not. On top of be something that you're not, just like Negro, black, colored people, white people want to be something that they're not. The head decided to eliminate these people. Which, you know, we're not picking sides or nothing like that. But if he says, what's your nationality? And he's in Germany, you better say you're German. If you don't worry. There's a factory right over there, and we're going to put you to work. The story goes that instead of people coming home from work, there were just these 9 million objects sitting in a hole. And more objects just sitting in a hole. And, you know, people were pointing and complaining and, oh, how can you do that, you know, blah, 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 blah. But the real issue was these people were stateless people. These people were nationless people, because they wanted to take a creed or a religion and make that a nationality, which is a lie. On top of that, they're calling themselves somebody who they know that they're not that. So you have these 9 million objects in a hole, creates a bottleneck. So we suggest vaporization techniques. So there's no evidence of depopulation on mass levels, because their plan is vaporization techniques. We already know vapor.
Same thing they're doing with money in the economy. Very slowly.
Very slowly, paper is turning into cards, and people aren't seeing what's going on. Very
subtle.
It's extremely subtle. Right, which leads to the next part. Because they know exactly what they're doing. Descriptive introduction of the silent weapon. Everything that is expected from an ordinary weapon is expected from a silent weapon by its creator, but only in its own manner of functioning. It shoots situations instead of bullets, propelled by data processing instead of chemical reaction, originating from bits of data instead of grains of gunpowder, from a computer instead of a gun. operated by a computer programmer instead of a marksman, under the orders of a banking magnate instead of a military general. It makes no obvious explosive noises, causes no obvious physical or mental injuries, and does not obviously interfere with anyone's daily social life. Yet, even though it does that stuff, yet it makes unmistakable noise, causes unmistakable physical and mental damage, and unmistakably interferes with daily social life, i.e. unmistakable to a trained observer. One who knows what to look for. One who knew what to look for was Noble Ali. Because before all this stuff came crashing down, he told all you Moors, you're not Negro black colored. Why? Because he's a prophet. And prophets know what's going to happen in the future. And this military document is for the minority. Blacks, Indians, Latinos, Puerto Ricans, and poor whites. Because the government figured if you don't want to proclaim your nationality, then we'll have to deal with the Negro problem. And their intention of dealing with the Negro problem is eliminating you. Their way of dealing with the problem that is going to happen when the race war kicks off is eliminating everybody that's involved with it. Everybody. Vaporization techniques. Like, these people aren't playing around. You can think that they're playing. They're not playing. They're very serious. Since 1969, this is their plan. They've been sitting on, just waiting. People aren't privy to this information, so, you know, they think, well, you know, I'll go join the UNIA and I'll go join all these groups that, you know, because my salvation is there. And they don't know that all these groups are infiltrated. All of them. Again, including the Moorish Science Temple. That's why we teach people, study, so you know. Don't be following Kudjo. Because you don't play follower games around here. Right? It's how we got where we are. Even Yahshua told you, you're going to do greater works than I'm even going to do. So that means it's not about him. But everybody want to chase behind Yahshua. Right? Even Malachi York said, ye are gods. Put on your mask of God and become that. You're always sitting there waiting for me. But everybody wants to be part of the group. When we walk in birthright. Built pyramids on land and all that stuff. Show them, this is the power of your birthright. Of your Moorish birthright. You can make a claim on any landmass that you want. He made a claim, built stuff. Sat there for years. Nobody bothered him, nothing. And all of a sudden, you know, they start bothering him. Because he started to stray away from nationality. He got too big for his britches. Thought that he had some divine, he had a more divine plan than Noble Ali's plan. All these guys thought that. Marcus Garvey thought that. When he was taught, you're not Negro black colored, but he's going to call the organization Universal Improvement and improve the Negro. When the Negro is a four-legged beast, according to Noble Ali's teachings. The Negro is a four-legged beast. You're not going to improve on it. You're not going to improve on it. I don't care how hard you try. I don't care what you say your program is. You're not going to improve on it. And if you're going to call yourself it, and your leader is going to call you an it, and you're not going to say, hold on a second, leader. What do you mean? What do you mean Negro? What do you mean Negro improvement? Like, what do you mean by that? Like, you know, what do you mean? Because he even was making noise about the Negro without a land, and the Negro without this, and the Negro without that. And, you know, we need to find ourselves and, you know, go back to wherever we came from and know ourselves. Man, know thyself. All out the window. Because everybody wanted to get the big chest and be the one. When King Alfred Plant told you, unmistakable to a trained observer, one who knows what to look for. One who knows what to look for. Not one as in an individual, one as in Noble Ali. Because he's the only one that knew what to look for. Nationality is the order of the day. That's the only thing that's going to save you from this beast system that is about to crash. Not only is it going to crash, it's going to implode while it's crashing.
People know about the story of Garvey and all they're interested in the story. Yeah, tell us the story. I didn't hear what you said.
October.
The story.
The connection. The connection between Noble Ali and Marcus Garvey. And why this shouldn't be called Universal Negro Improvement Association. That's a fraud. No such thing as Negroes. You had your hand up? You had a question?
Yeah, I did. Sorry. So the executive order you're telling us about is basically the real blueprint for what we know as the Plan of 2000. That was, you know, those meetings that were occurring in the early 70s in Aspen and so on.
Right.
George
What they now call the G8 and G whatever.
Yeah, and then Agenda 21 and Codex Alimentarius, which are just little pieces of it. But.
Right. So again, we're talking about the connection, right? So this is why Garvey got what he got. $3 mail fraud. $3. $3 mail fraud. Right? The case is even in this book. Right? United States Circuit Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit. So this is the appeal after the case. Marcus Garvey, plaintiff in error. United States of America, defendant in error. Case closed. But the plaintiff's in error because the plaintiff is private corporation, it. So it has no rights, can't talk in a court of law, can't make any claims, can't sue anybody, can't complain about anything. Right? And the United States of America is a private corporation. That's also an it that can't make a claim, that can't say you did something wrong and I'm going to sue you. Case closed. It's similar to the Dred Scott case. If you haven't heard, look up, Google the Dred Scott case. The most important slave case in the history of slavery. The Dred Scott case. And Dred Scott was also plaintiff in error. That's why he lost the case. And they used that as the pattern for Marcus Garvey's case. Because between Dred Scott, which is 17-something, and Marcus Garvey, which is 19-something, Noble Ali came and told all these black, Negro colored, whatever they call themselves, leaders. They're not Negro, black colored, you're Moors. Stop playing around with the people's birthright. I'm a universal prophet, and what I'm teaching is universal, and everybody's going to get this eventually. So you can either correct yourself now or be corrected later when they start taking care of the Negro problem. So this is October 23rd, 1927, Atlanta, Georgia. Dear wife, I have been to see Mr. Garvey at the federal prison. I will be home Friday or Saturday. Love to all, from your husband, Noble Drew Ali. Front cover of the Prophet's postcard to his wife at that time, Sister Pearl Drew Ali, while at the federal prison in Atlanta, Georgia, visiting Marcus Garvey in 1927. The picture is a rendition of the federal prison where Marcus Garvey was housed. Inside of the Prophet's postcard to his wife at that time, while Garvey was in Atlanta, Georgia, or while Noble Drew Ali was in Atlanta, Georgia, visited Marcus Garvey in 1927. So they know. The UNIA has been put on notice about the fact that you cannot improve the Negro. Noble Drew, it's the elder Moors, the master teachers, teach that not only did he go visit them, he told them, you're going to leave here and you're going to go tell all these Garveyites when you get out of prison. Because don't forget, nobody still doesn't know how Marcus Garvey got out of prison. How did he get out of prison with no trial and nothing?
All of a sudden pardoned by the president.
All of a sudden. How? How is this black, this nigger that, you know, during that time it's, you know, KKK, lynch niggers and stuff like that. The president is stepping in to say, release this man.
Mail fraud is one of the highest trends as well.
Like,
in the most years, right?
Right?
Yeah.
You know, the amount of the mail fraud is what we're saying something's up with that. Not the mail fraud. The fact that it was $3. The fact that it was $3 mail fraud. But the president still said, right? Because Noble Drew Ali told him. Noble Drew Ali, matter of fact, nationalized him. That's why he was able to get out of prison. By the president. Because, you know, president doesn't step in. You know, the last time president stepped in for somebody was John Forte. After Marcus Garvey, the last time president stepped in and said, get that guy out of prison, John Forte. That was like 90s. Compared to 1920 something. It should tell us something. It should let us know the power of nationality. And what this thing actually does to the corporate construct when you start pushing this ideal. They're going to fight you, guaranteed. Like we're saying, brothers go into the psychological assessment. His situation is that he was on the street, minding his own business, saw a guy that he knew, asked for a ride. Guy said, "Oh, let's go." Got in, driving, they got stopped. Guy had whatever in the car. And now he's co-accused. But how come the co-accused, since he's not represented by an attorney, the case can't move? The case can't move. Everybody's waiting on him to make a plea. And he's saying, well, I'm not making no pleas because you guys are fraudulent court, you guys are administrative building, and if you're calling yourself a judge, I'm asking you to please present to me your authority to be a judge. I have a right to ask for that. You can't deny me that right. You say that you're a judge. If you say that you're the head of the UNIA in Montreal, let me see something. Yeah, I'm not just gonna go with the fact that you say you're the head. Like, show me something. Okay, yeah, here's my card, here's my whatever. Okay, cool. How come the judge not showing up nothing? Because they have nothing to show. Because they are Canadian court. They are fraudulent court. They have no jurisdiction in any type of matters whatsoever. Right? The only way they are able to get us in those administrative courts is by having a spider, a tarantula, scorpion, wear a uniform, and sit at the side of the road and pounce on you. So they're going to say, you broke Highway Traffic Act, blah, 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 blah. Here's the ticket. Then we're going to take the ticket, not recognizing that he, the officer, took the original and he gave us a copy that says defendant, which means we're guilty before we even go to court, because we have the defendant's copy. And if you're a defendant, then you're obviously guilty. That's how they railroad us. But again, just like the brother, because we build with the brother about this. And again, it's coming back to, the spiritual self and knowing who you are and whatever. Never, ever, ever, ever. We tell more, don't do stuff with niggers. Don't take ride from niggers, because you don't know what the hell these guys are, you don't know what they're doing. Better you walk than take a ride from a black guy who says, yeah, black power, because you don't know what the hell this guy's up in. And just like it, you're going to go up in the car, you're just going to ride, I'm just going 5 minutes that way. Well, in 2 minutes, in 2 minutes, siren's going off. And now, he's a co-accused. And it's a pretty big case, because dude had some stuff on him that he didn't tell the dude, like, just like we're saying, this how Negro black colors get done. Negro black colors gonna tell you, yeah, come on in the car. This guy's gun under the seat, drugs in the trunk, something in the side of the door. Move the stereo. There's a big hole you can stick your hand in. They got guns back there. Like, just because you wanted to get in the car with a Negro, instead of just show your pass and go on the bus or walk where you're going. Mixing and mingling. We don't mix and mingle. That's rules from when we were coming up as youths. You don't mix and mingle in things that don't concern you, because you're gonna get yourself in trouble. Bona fide. As soon as you're going outside, 10 o'clock, never calling you outside, whatever you go outside and then something happens to you. Every time, like clockwork. Like clockwork. Right? How's all these youths right now caught up in madness? Right? Following some nigger on TV. Have a belt on, but his pants down here. And we really think that this is how we conduct ourselves. This is how we're supposed to engage people. And the whole world is like, I can sell you this. You want to buy this? And then we're going to buy. Not recognizing that we're getting played. That, people cutting off their own hair so we can have hair. And they're cutting off their hair, donating it to the church. And the church or the mosque or the synagogue or whatever is selling the hair. They comb out the hair, make sure, and they're selling the hair that people cut off to donate to God. And then you're going to go put that hair on your head. You know what karmic debt you're putting on yourself, putting on those weaves and all that stuff? You don't know what those people cutting their hair off for. They could have had maybe 50 beggars touch their hair, and it's bad luck to get, your hair touched by a beggar. So they bald their head, and then we're going to go buy this hair now. All this bad luck hair. and all this bad stuff happened to us, we're like, damn, I don't get this, man. I prayed last night. I went to church. I went to the mosque. Like, how come? We give it to ourselves. We cause it on ourselves. Because we were teaching in a few classes ago that nationality is actually a shield. Nationality is a protection. Nationality is something like, look at people who have nationalities and notice, how come every time, like using Asians, those guys are cool. Asians go to court. Yeah, what's your name? I know English. Okay, this guy needs translator, bam, you know, and he just gets to leave. What do you mean? You guys aren't gonna do anything? You're just gonna let him leave. Just like that. He just gets to leave because he doesn't know how to speak English. And you have to find him a translator. Alright. He just beat his case. So I guarantee you that translator, officer of the court, that also has a nationality. Because I notice also that all these people with nationalities, they don't go outside their nationality to go get representation. But if I go see a brother, you got Jewish lawyer, Indian lawyer, Hindu lawyer, black lawyer, white lawyer, every lawyer. Every different type of lawyer. Lawyers who don't even know what the hell they're doing. And he's gonna say, yeah, I want you to represent me. And this guy doesn't know what he's doing. That right there, that's enough to throw out the case because the lawyer is incompetent. If he doesn't know the law, then how can he be fit enough to even be up in here? Right? You have a question, sis?
Yeah, what I want to ask you, I listen to what you're saying about how you mention to the blacks, I don't believe in calling anyone name, so I'm not getting anything called. But what I want to ask you, when a woman is pregnant, right? Because I like to see it, whether she lived in Grenada, lived in Africa, Canada, the child has to go through a certain process, right?
Right.
The calculation must be right. If the calculation is missed, we know something is wrong.
Right.
But we know the source that helps that child. But when that child is born, based on his environment, what it's taught, he becomes something. He wasn't given a chance. So whether he become a Negro or whatever his status, he wasn't given a chance. If he had the proper chance and he was blessed, he would be put in tune with the knowledge. This child now will have a proper identity.
Right.
You will not see certain behavior. So not because someone behaves a certain way doesn't mean they cannot change. If not, we should always have to give up on God. Because it doesn't matter how low a man is.
Yeah, the soul is perfect even in the body of a
You
fool.
should never call others names. By no means I don't accept that. You should never. Because God understands things more than me. He understands why some like this, some are higher, some are taking certain things, some are not, but each one needs to learn from each other to grow. It's all about growing. The people from the hood, if they really get the right knowledge, they can grow. And the people sometimes who live in mansion, they don't have money.
Yeah, no,
They
yeah,
just
sure.
was blessed with the riches of this world.
Right,
But we know
exactly.
about the riches of this world, what he can do to you too.
Right, exactly.
That's why God, from nothing, he always raised the most beautiful. Remember that.
No.
From nothing can come something very good.
Now, keep this in mind. The reason why we're bringing up these labels is because King Alfred planned. We're not bringing up these labels to offend anybody or to call people out their names. We're bringing up these labels so people can be clear that you identify with these labels, they're vaporizing your ass.
That's right.
They're not playing around.
I don't identify with anybody. Right.
Then-
Except God.
Then,
Or what you say, divine soul.
if you don't identify
With no group like
with no,
specifically.
if you don't identify with no group and you just identify with God, right?
Because that's my source that I live in.
All right.
Yeah, but you must show the devil too. He exists.
That,
I know
that,
that.
Proves God's right.
right?
I know
That source, right? Did that source put you on a landmass?
That's just put me on earth to be done. It's right.
All right. So you're an earthly being.
No, I'm a heavenly being, but I'm developing here. So my rise is from here.
Okay,
You understand? That's why I'm here. If
Right.
not, it's I leave.
but your
divine.
spirit can't be here without the body.
No, I need that connection.
All right, so
And
that means,
connection gives me learning and a process to go.
so that means on top of a heavenly being, you're also an earthly being.
Well, I have a choice right now.
Well,
That is clear.
I don't see any heavenly beings or earthly beings out here that are heavenly doing nothing heavenly. You just ate food, which is very earthly.
No, but what do you mean by that?
Drank juice, water, whatever. But you walked here from wherever, took the bus, drove, whatever. All that's earth stuff with you.
Yes, but you could be divine on earth, and that's what you're supposed to be in order to
The only
develop.
way that you're divine on earth is with a nationality. You're not divine on earth because you're God's child.
No, I didn't tell you that. It's because I cultivate my spirit. I cultivate my
And
spirit daily.
Your spirit is immaculate. Your spirit is boundless, shapeless, formless. You have form right now. Right?
Yes, I am.
All right.
I
So
am.
because you have form right now, you can't run away from the base chakra.
I'm not running
You
from
can't pretend like I can't be a devil because I'm so heavenly.
No, I understand what you're saying.
Right. So
Good and evil is within man. They have a choice.
exactly. But that being wouldn't be on the earth plane if they weren't supposed to belong to a nation.
The earth is a school. It is a school. Where do you develop?
Yeah, but we need to understand that part of the divine plan also involves a beast that is present, claiming souls,
Or the beast
claiming
is within us
individuals.
too. The beast is within us.
Yeah, but
Let it out, and it comes out.
Alfred's plan is real,
There's external beasts as well.
Exactly. So there's a
Of course
beast
there is.
system.
Right. And the heavenly stuff is not going to protect you from this external beast.
Of course not.
All right.
It
That's
is
why.
From mine, eyes, and heart.
That's why we're saying that
Chakras.
nationality. We can put, it's like people who say, it's like when we say you're not black. Then what do you mean I'm not black? Black is the essence of the earth and the blessing of the womb and the blood. Okay, yeah, that's real good. But that's heavenly stuff. That's energy. That's not your identity. We're talking about identity. And these people out here, they are going to assume that you're a minority if you don't tell them that you're not that. And that's been the pattern. That's how we got ourselves even in slavery. Exactly. And that's why I said it. That's how we got in slavery.
People are still enslaved.
Why is that? Because they don't have no nationality. Because they're stateless. Because they have no honor. They have no ancestral honor. Return to your own violent victory. Right? That's one. The other there? Right? Return to your own violent victory. Right? Recognize that, yes, you're a heavenly being. I'm not in denial of that.
But then why did you say it? How would you become a God man or a God woman? No, I asked a specific question. How do you become? Because then, what is God? To become God, what is God? Does God have a birthright? Does God have what does God have? If he's primordial energy, what does God have to become God?
Right? You said,
Become one with the source.
Yeah. So how do you become fluent like a baby? No muscles but good tight grip.
Yeah,
Hold
look.
on.
birthright. That's how you become fluid.
Birthright to God, birthright to what?
Birthright to the fact that you are
Here now.
a being here, right now. Yes, you're heavenly. Not taken away from the heavenly perspective. But if we are standing on the earth plane, whether we're heavenly, spiritual, whatever, right? The earth plane is divided into geographical locations called continents. Fact. Continents are broken up into geographical locations called countries. Fact. Countries house nationals. And nationals have a nationality.
So when God communicates directly with man, right? It's like a prophet. And he tells you certain things. What do you do? And others have something different. What do you do? How do you say it? Because some people are directly in contact with God. Some people are directly knowing. They may not tell you, but they know things.
Is she admitting that she sees God outside of herself?
So how do you explain that to someone when you don't want to belong to nothing, when you have the source that gives you and gives you?
But see, you don't have a choice not to belong to anything. That's what the problem is. You can't say I'm heavenly, but I don't belong to a nation.
It brings the question now. Do you see God outside of yourself?
Well, within myself.
Okay, so if it's within yourself, that means you need to be balanced now. The connector between heaven and earth.
But that's what
That's the thing, you're the connector between heaven and earth.
Yeah,
If you don't,
that connection,
We're getting to the same.
the connection, but that connection also gives you into that realm as a direct source. And if others who understand that direct source will maybe understand what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying what you say is wrong, but I'm saying what that source can do for you and what that source
Let's go even deeper with it, right? The concept of creation is only feminine. There's no masculine creative force that exists in the universe.
I know that.
All right. So God really and truly is woman. God is not the energy force in the universe, and God, the creator, is woman. And when she takes her place back in the throne of David in the pineal gland, when she gets herself back in the throne here, then she would teach here, and all these beings will be coming out like Kudjo. And we would have no problem. We would have no problem at all. Because they're going to be coming out of the womb with the knowledge of themselves, with their birthright, knowing that, God's within, God's not some external force. So let's go, we're ready.
Mom, what's your name? Dad, what's your name? Okay, I honor my mother and my
Right.
father, so my days will be
Honor your mother and your father so the days could be longer on the earth land.
Yeah, but then the wisdom says, when I'm looking at you, maybe your mother or father knows two names, where you were there then before your father and
But
mother.
God will tell you, when you get to that source, you will know who you are. That's why you will understand God. You will be told.
No, you would understand God. Because if you understand God, you become a slave.
You would know God.
And if you know God, you'll know that it's you.
Right. Remember, we're using God in replacement for Elohim.
Yes.
Right? So, as you know,
God is
Elohim is
because you
plural.
resurrected within you.
Elohim is plural, right?
But with that resurrection, you also, at least you get what you call your birthright, right? Because that birthright, and then they tell you when you pass like, this is who
No, but
you were.
look, birth has to do with coming onto the earth plane. Birth has to do with coming onto the earth plane.
Yeah, of course. I
All
know
right,
that.
so that means your birthright has to do with the geographical location that you came onto the earth plane.
Hence, your astrology is based on the exact place and point where you came on, because when you look up, it's where the planets were at that time.
So because I was born in Grenada, I can answer that because
That-
does it mean that that's where I was originally from?
Meaning that the energy influences you. And yes, it doesn't mean It's where your spirit chose to reincarnate. And so you have to respect its incarnation.
Of course.
Right. I think that's just what.
That's why we have to be
I
national.
think that the dilemma here in the beginning, before the, I'm sorry, go ahead.
But I think you're saying the same.
Yeah, just one thing too is that we're looking at that picture again, it's the earth, right? So as a being, you're saying as a spiritual being, like that's your mother, right? If Allah is your father, the earth is your mother, you have to be a caretaker of that. Without a nationality, you can't properly take care of stuff. If you're planting trees over here, and then you walk away and let, just based on your own godness, and someone else comes by and they don't know that your seeds are there, because you never communicated with them, then they dig up and they undig your seeds and they put something down. Now you guys are mashing up the earth for no reason. Because you lack of communication. You have to communicate with other people, and they should have to communicate with each other in order to take care of the earth.
That's not what I was
Because there's responsibilities.
I was just saying, when you talk about identity, what is identity properly? That's what I
One thing you need to understand is that there's a beast system there to put you through the test of realizing the divinity. That's why God allowed this to happen. That the beast system exists. You cannot deny that. No, but that's what I'm saying. Our first plan is real, and we need to, out of self-knowledge, acquire all the necessary to come to that.
That I'm not saying that I'm not opposed, because I think it's in the same thing, that we just need to collaborate our terminology and stuff.
Right? But what happened is, it's just that. I just think we're just speaking more, reasoning more, hearing why people don't say something, why they say something, and reasoning that on eventually good answers.
So I think that a lot of the confusion just now lies in the difference between talking on the spiritual level and then from a law perspective, which is two complete different things that connect a certain way.
The words itself, you have to understand.
So then, what I want to say to Madame over here, sorry, I don't know her name, is that what he means is nationality is very spiritual and everything else, but in opposition to Alfred and his plan, it's the one remedy that lies between you being a slave, being brought to a concentration camp, and then being free. There's a maxim in law that says the inclusion of one thing is the exclusion of all others, and then vice versa. So what he's saying is that if you exercise your right to true nationality, then you have included and you have put yourself in a position where you do have some kind of defense or remedy against Alfred and his plan. Specifically.
Kudjo already said that.
Yeah,
Kudjo already
that's-
said that it's a Moorish divine and national movement. So what you're speaking about is embodied in nationality. That heavenly perspective is part of nationality. Because if we trace ourselves back, we would find out that, prior to, up until 1492, we had a nationality. After that, our nationality became anything that we assumed it was, anything that we believed it was, anything that somebody told us it was, but we didn't know for ourselves what it was. And us knowing for ourselves what it is what is going to allow these universal ancestral forces to now step in on your behalf and work with you in anything that you're going through, without having to go into meditation and try to connect to God, so that or for you to things will just be normal. Just like I'm saying, Kiruku came out of the womb perfected. All he had to do was do what he came here to do. That's all. He was already, look at Yahshua. It was the angels that were talking to Mary when she was pregnant with Yahshua that gave Yahshua the knowledge that he came out with, that made him become the Christ.
That's such a smooth angels of powers dormant.
Right? Yeah.
Faculties dormant.
Right. Right. But again, we have to choose to come back here. Like, everybody who's in this room, they themselves were the one sperm that said, all right, I'm winning this. All you million guys, you million guys will have nothing on me, because I'm going to be the one that's coming back here because, you know, I got some stuff to do. You guys just chill. Right?
Chosen one.
Back up. Chosen one. Neos. Right?
I have a question. So it's concerned the brother that's been locked up. I guess he's a part of more science, right?
Who's that?
The brother that got locked up in the car. There's a car.
Oh, yeah. No, only one of them is a member.
Okay.
He's free. The other guy's locked up.
I'm texting him right now.
Oh no, you mean the one on the highway?
Yeah.
No.
The highway one?
Yeah.
No, that's not even somebody we know.
Oh, okay.
No. That was just agent.
Stage.
No, I'm talking about, you said there's a guy in court, right?
Yeah. Okay, yeah. The guy in court? Yeah. Yeah.
He's a Moor and he's incarcerated.
The co-accused
No, yeah.
are more
He's
not
co-accused,
incarcerated.
but the accused is the one incarcerated. He's free.
Oh,
He's the one going to get the psychological assessment.
Okay, the one who got locked up.
Right, yeah. The accused is the one that, yeah. The co-accused is out.
Okay.
That's the brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
You actually touched a big on the principle of manifestation is went to a physical state, right? Everything you see gave birth, it's in physical principle, right? Everything that is tangible, it's actually went to a physical stage. Our problem with is we are not in tune with that feminine principle on this plane, which is why we have no control, we're having chaos with it. Hence, it makes sense. We're living in a patriarchal way of thinking. Right? And you really study this more science, and sisters, pay attention to this one because this is your movement. We're only here ministering for the time being. When y'all get this, we sit down. Because the ultimate purpose of this, for example, this, you gave to us. You chose us. You said, okay, we're going to wear a symbolism of your womb on our head. And she can help me break it down. Our umbilical cord. There's 9 holes in 4 sections on the top, representing the 9 months, 4 quarter moons. Grab sheet. I know more science is really like on the ultimate level. We want to deal with like healing humanity or divine beings and dealing with actually what's going on. Right now, sisters, you want to know like why this every single like Black Power movement and everything that came out was still under patriarch. No matter how good it was still patriarch, and that's the problem. Because like you said, we need to give birth to the Characters. Sisters, you are the first teachers. Our job is we allowed SFED or like this organizations to get at you all. We didn't do our job in at least helping y'all out. Because when you all have that science and that information, you will teach that child to give birth to himself, in other words. Miracles. You teach him through your womb. That's where these children actually learn. And then up until 4 years, they can inhale every and anything you give them. Everything. So I mean, you are the key to the nation. You are the nation. We are matriarch. This is not a man's movement. Yes.
So that energy that was trying to build that soul.
Yes.
If we really bind ourselves,
Yes.
that worship and prayer, how do we know he was chosen? Because he just said it. How do we know he was chosen? The reason why. The Bible tells God to an angel. So that angel now allows to protect him. The man knows where he's going, when he arrives, who is there. He knows things. What is that that gives that power to man? That man can now feed from that. And the ones that have it will truly understand. The ones that don't have it will not speaking from space.
Right. When you're talking about the angels speaking or anything speaking,
No,
remember,
I just-
no, you're right. No, you're right.
Right.
In terms of the Bible, when they're saying angels speaking, remember we cleared it up a little bit earlier. Those deities, those angels are not external thoughts. Those are things that you ignite. So it's knowing thyself. or understand. And you're right, and that's what you're doing. That's the process. Is when you understand yourself, that's what the Bible is saying. God spoke to him, or and that's it. Is when you know that, and I think that's just what we're
So
getting.
when one knows thyself, they must know the complete self in their life, their death, and their resurrection, like you were Shaman Kandera, right? To know that, to understand that person, that man never died. He just breaks from one source to the next. Okay? So, when, say, let's say I pass on, but I have a family member or not, and I know what I'm saying, and I need to come back to hell. Do you think God doesn't raise that person when they see the danger of hell to not help that person or not? If
I
not,
don't think
people don't
anybody,
understand certain
anyone
things.
would argue that. I don't think anyone would
When
argue
they don't
that.
understand certain things. So when we talk about identity, I step back because I have my reasons. And my reasons because I have some understanding. You know, a lot, a little bit, but I do what I say. So that's why I say.
I don't want to put something out there. We got maybe like 5 minutes. I think we have to be out here at 6:30 or something like that. So we want to take
Yeah.
your comment or question.
Right on the topic that we are discussing, unfortunately, I don't know if time will allow it, but it would have been so nice to expand a little more on the symbolism of the shrines, for instance. The crescent pointing downward with the sword, and because I think, considering that by way of, what they learned at that degree is how to deprive original people of their birthright.
No, actually, what they learned at that degree was a birthright, because they didn't have it. That's why all of them have a fez. That's why all of them pretend like,
By permission.
right? Yeah, that's why our fez doesn't have anything on it,
That's right.
because we're the actual ones that ordered them to wear the fez. And we mark their fez, mark of the beast and all that stuff.
That's right.
Yeah. That's why they have scimitars and all that type of stuff on there. So they can be recognized as being ones who were taught certain things, leads them up to 33 degrees. But some of them, there's 96-degree masons that people don't know about, people never hear about. There's masons that are 96-degree masons.
But at birth, we are born with 260
Right,
degree knowledge.
exactly.
That's the reason, that's the wisdom that
but
says,
you're only-
teach a child food from day one, and you will make a god out of that child.
But you're
Because
only-
we're already born with 260 degrees.
You're only born with 360 degrees.
Dormant.
You're only born with 360 degrees of knowledge if you have a nationality. And then that's why tack the Masons down at 32 degrees or 33 degrees, and their tassel doesn't swing around like this. Their tassel is stuck. Because at 32 degrees, water, right, is still frozen. At 33 degrees, it begins to flow. That's why their highest degree that they tell the people is 33 degrees. When it starts to flow for them, they're not concrete anymore. We're concrete. We don't even have 1 degree because we don't have a nationality. We can have 360 degrees of knowledge, but it's not going to happen, right? I wanted to pass this around just to show in Washington, D.C., you have pheasants in glass cases. People to come see, take pictures of, and all the pheasants have LB on it, Arabia, Arab, Ansar, Ali, Sheba, Acacia, Ali, like Mecca, Aquila, Kashmir, Islam, ISIS, India, Hela, Hedja, Hassa,
Grenada,
all of them, right?
Why are your colors like, why some of them are black and some are red? What's that about?
The black is for the quote-unquote intelligence service, and the red is just common for anybody. But then there's blue and green and orange. If you like to coordinate, you could make your stuff tight.
Can we get access to
Right.
the Alfred Lodge crime book? Like how do you get that?
We can get. I think I have one here that we could probably leave, and then you guys can just top it up for everybody, right? Other thing I wanted to pull up was 1924 Jerusalem, seated center, Rastafari. Then the regent heir apparent to Jerusalem, seated with him are Ethiopian officials who accompanied him to Jerusalem and an identified Turkish group. And then when you look through this, you're going to see Haile Selassie sitting there with all these Turks with fezzes on. So it's not a secret. Everybody knows what's up. We just need to get down with it so we can save ourselves. Because if we don't get down with it, guaranteed, they got King Alfred plan ready and it's already in operation. They're not sitting around. It's in operation. Yes, good.
So I understand how nationality on a lawful perspective can be protection against the Alfred agenda, if you will. Do you really believe that it is?
I look at it from the perspective that, for me personally, I was brought up Negro black colored. So the fact that I have nationality now and I know about it and it's something that's secure in my mind, regardless of what they do, I'm, you know, my heart's, I'm at peace with myself, knowing that I'm not Negro black colored, Ethiopian, African, or whatever. I'm a Moor, I have a history, I can go research it, I can go talk to people from other countries. They're going to tell me, oh yeah, Moor in German, M-O-H-R, Moor in French, M-A-U-R, Moor in Philippines, M-O-R, Moor in Europe, Blackamoor, Moor in Asia, Moor in this, Moor in that. You see street signs all over the place. Moor's Gate, Moor's thing, Moor's this. So it's something tangible. I don't see black streets. I don't see black history, kings and all that type of stuff. African kings and emperors and all that. It doesn't exist. So psychologically, yeah, right? It's absolutely empowering to go to somebody and, you know, you tell them that, you know, I'm a Moor, and then they want to actually, you know, come here, let me tell you something. And they want to sit down with you, and they're going to tell you about their great-grandmother who was a Moor, you know, and they're just, you know, they just look European or whatever, you know. There's a good YouTube called Blacks in Sicily.
Blacks in
Sicily, right? And there's this brother, right, European brother, that's straight cussing people out. Stop calling Moors black people. Stop calling Sicilians Sicilians. They're Moors. My grandmother was a Moor. My mom was a Moor. That's why I have dark hair. That's why I have a big ass nose like this. That's why my lips, he's just killing it. European, talking harder than some black people. Right? About Moorish history, not black history, African history, whatever. Moorish history. Right? I guarantee that we're going to do this again. I guarantee that, you know, the little bit of information that we were going to get out, you know, traffic, travel, and all that stuff, we got here late. But it's not an issue to connect with any of the brothers, you know what I mean? Like, shoot guys our contact, whatever. Anybody has to link us, give us a call. We want to build, we want to get the information to you. Because being that, you know, Quebec is a so-called sovereign nation, right? Being that
independent,
you know, the talk is that you're independent. How about really
in the hands of who?
How about really standing up for some independence and then see what these people who so-called say that they're independent are going to do? Because I guarantee, in Toronto right now, like it's rumbling.
Oh yeah.
Mayor Ford just went to Chicago, and we say it's because of what the Moors are doing, right? Brother Amore has, Nigerians went for a meet. Ron Emmanuel.
All of a sudden, it's a sister
Right?
city.
All of a sudden, right? He's going to Chicago. You know, big important meeting. Toronto's open for business. Everybody come to Toronto. But, you know, when you really look at it, it's because of the activity of the Moors. It's because Ron Emmanuel put out a proclamation last year that went all around the country. And then all these mayors and all these states started putting out this same proclamation. Oh yeah, the Moors are the indigenous people, Moorish Americans, Prophet Obujuali, make sure that you recognize him, make sure that if the Moors say that they're doing something that you go show support. And all these people are European. There's a lot going on with regard to this Moorish paradigm. And we want to help get it secure here. So it's not just you know, oh, that more stuff.
that
See
group.
some people walk, just when I went outside, when we first came here, you know, everybody, you know, people are looking across the street. People are coming out the stores and stuff, like, yo, what's going on over there? Who's that guy with that red hat on? Because everybody knows. Everybody knows. We have to stop thinking they don't know. Everybody knows. Every single person on the planet knows.
Everybody.
And they're waiting. They're begging for the Morse to step up.
Start getting in conversations with people from now. You're gonna have experiences you will never forget for the rest of your life. You're gonna feel like, so this whole time you knew? You're gonna say that about 100 times. So this whole time. But that's the Masonic secret.
Oh,
Hey, if they're not gonna say nothing, I'm just gonna ride it till the wheels fall off.
and also too, as far as nationality, let me just read this. This was my case from when I was exercising right to travel, and I had these, driving with these. Drove with these for about 9 months. Right? No insurance, no stops, no nothing. Right? Got stopped by some rookie cops. And then they said charges. Operate motor vehicle without insurance. Driving while under suspension. Fail to surrender permit. Confusion identity plate. Fail to report accident. Driver, motor vehicle, no current validation. Failure to notify change of address. Driver, motor vehicle, no plates. Oh yeah, and under suspension. They threw out everything except no insurance. They threw out everything except no insurance. Which means that the nationality card that I gave them is legit because they didn't charge me for not having ID. Which means the allodial title that I had for my property was legit because they didn't tow my car to the impound. And this is the transcript. Ontario Court of Justice in the matter of provincial offences, Her Majesty the Queen versus Kevin McCletchy. Before His Worship of the Justice of the Peace, I.S. Chando. Appearances. Provincial Prosecutor, Ms. P. Guerrero. In person, Mr. Kudjo Adwo L. Ex-relation, Kevin McCletchy. Ex-relation. So that's basically just saying that, you know, I have something to do with the matter, but I'm not that entity. And they recognize that in the transcript. And when you go through the whole transcript, how is it? Mr. Kudjo Adwo L, Mr. Kudjo Adwo L. They never called me the slave.
Are you still traveling?
No, because we're working on the lawsuit. And then we're gonna travel after sue something.
May I suggest maybe for replace insurance to have like your own trust in place?
Right,
for that?
assurance or something to
Something to block whatever, something to replace whatever they.
we just cut this. Yeah, we gotta close this out. Let me just close this out, right? Supreme Court case. All right, Supreme Court case. Christie versus Elliott. Traveling in an automobile on the public roadways was not a threat to the public safety or health and constituted no hazard to the public. And such a traveler owed nothing more than due care to the public, and the owner owed no other duty to the public. He, she, his or her auto having equal rights to and on the roadways, highways, as horses, wagons, etc. This same right is a substantive rule in that speeding, running stop signs, traveling without license plates or registrations are not threats to the public safety and thus are not arrestable offenses. Supreme Court. You guys made some copies of that.
Canadian Supreme Court.
Well, Canada acceded to everything in the Union in Articles 11 of the Articles of Confederation. So anything in the United States includes Canada also.
We're registered there.
Yeah, we're registered there. So anything they do and they say, we can use what they do right there. Alright? But again, we're just going to close out. We usually close out with doing the prayer. So the prayer is really an affirmation to activate the chakras get ourselves in unity, right? You don't have to participate if you don't want to, but if you do want to participate, if you could please rise. Stand with our feet at a 45-degree angle. 5 on the left, 2 on the right. And we'll repeat after me. You could also call whatever you call the higher force. We call the creator Allah, right? Allah, the Father of the universe.
God, the Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth.
Truth.
Peace.
Peace.
Freedom.
Freedom.
And justice.
And justice.
Allah is our protector.
Allah is our protector.
Our guide.
Our guide.
And our salvation.
And our salvation.
By night.
By night.
And by day.
And by day.
Through his and her holy prophet.
Through his and her holy prophet.
Noble to Ali.
Noble to Ali.
Islam.
Islam.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Hotep.
Hotep.
Peace.
Peace.
Islam.
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 Give thanks for your time. We love you, family. Peace.
Outside and stuff like that.
Yeah, we're not going home tonight.